Hello world, I'm Vernon Wright, also known as Professor V. Many of you may know me as a teacher, a barber, a radio host, or maybe the latter years you may have met me in law enforcement. I'm not sure, but I do want to introduce myself and kind of give you a little bit of my background. I am a licensed master barber in the state of Georgia. I'm a licensed master hair care specialist in the state of South Carolina. I'm also a master licensed hair care specialist instructor in South Carolina. And I am a licensed master barber instructor in the state of Georgia. But it doesn't stop there. I'm also a master educator for the My Lady Company. Many of you in this industry probably did your curriculum or your studies came from the My Lady system. Well, I am most proud of the fact that I am a certified trichologist through Innovations Today out of Addison, Texas, and I'm also a certified hair loss specialist with the United States Trichology Institute. Uh, and that kind of sums it up as far as the educational pieces, along with working actually with a few other companies that you are familiar with, but I won't call those names. But I've worked with a couple of companies and got a lot of education through those companies, and I've enjoyed them and still use their products today. So, with that being said, folks, I just kind of want to come to my talk with my colleagues and just expound a little bit on this whole coronavirus situation that's going on. Not to scare anyone, just kind of want to get some tips. Sometimes we get kind of complacent as industry personnel, and it's just all about making the next dollar for some of us. Of course, the money is very, very important, and that's what we need to survive. But we also want our customers to be safe. Can't stress that enough. We definitely want our customers to be safe. So, just like the CDC has already kind of put out, you know already that, of course, you want to wash your hands before and after each client. Now, CDC says you want to wash your hands, wash your hands. From a professional standpoint, you always want to wash your hands before and after each client. Before the client to protect the client, after the client to protect you, because you never know. You may put your hands in your face, and we all have heard over and over again, keep your hands out of your face. Now, we are working in close proximity, so that's something that we just cannot avoid doing in our industry. So with that being said, I would suggest that you turn your client around to the mirror and have a conversation with your client at that point, particularly because as barbers, we all do client consultations, whether you realize it or not. Oftentimes we're looking at the person face to face. Well, we want to keep that distance. So professionally and respectfully, we can turn our clients towards the mirror and speak to them and still have that eye-to-eye contact that you need to build that security within your client, making sure that we don't want people to feel on edge, but yet we still want them to be safe, and that is a very safe way to speak with your client. So now that's on that note. Now, the other thing, we want to make sure that we're using the appropriate disinfectants. Now, that is probably the most important thing I'm going to talk about today outside of the hair itself. Disinfectants, folks. Don't just go out and buy something off the shelf in your local supermarket. It may or may not be good, but just do remember that and it depending on the state that you work in. I'm only speaking right now. I'm only speaking for the state of Georgia as well as the state of South Carolina, because those two state boards I'm very familiar with. And you must use a EPA registered, that's the Environmental Protection Agency registered disinfectant, a hospital grade. It's got to be that commercial grade. It just can't be something that you picking up off the supermarket, out of the supermarket. So make sure. Now, if you're using a Barbicide, Selecticide, Marvicide, for the most part, it's going to tell you, folks, that it must have a moist time of 10 minutes. So if you're doing anything less than that, you are doing what we call sanitizing. Sanitization is the lowest level of decontamination, so it must be done first. So you only disinfect non-porous clean surfaces. You don't disinfect non-porous dirty surfaces. The sanitation process / cleaning must be done first. And the moist time, again, is 10 minutes. Keep that in mind. When you're spraying your toilet seats, it must set 10, even if you use a Lysol in the bathroom, that's fine. It must set 10 minutes in order to be classified as a disinfectant, or you're going through the process of disinfection. Again, anything less than that is simply sanitizer. You just simply clean it. So keep that in mind. Some of you barbers may say, well, hey, by the time I get to my next client, 10 minutes, that's a long time to wait. No, most of us have an arsenal of clippers and trimmers. Keep them disinfected. So when you get done with it, immediately disinfect it. Go through that whole process of sanitizer and disinfection. By the time you pick them up again, that 10 minutes would have lapsed. You are safe. That's what you want to do. Now, you may say, well, hey, I only have one pair of clippers and one trimmer. No problem. You still can do the same thing. You know that 9 times out of 10, you're going to use your clipper first. And when you get done with your clipper, pretty much the haircut, as we know the haircut to be, is over. Not the finishing, just the haircut. But then you brush your clippers off, you spray them. Now you're picking up your trimmers. By the time you do all your trimmer fine-tune work and you clean up your station, you clean up your area, you sweep the floor, you get yourself clean, the next client comes in, 10 minutes is probably gone. So you are safe as well. We got to get on board, folks, with this sanitation thing. I mean, we cannot afford to lose business. We're not like these major companies where you have all these benefits set aside. Yeah, some of us do have certain ones, but for the most part, many of us are independent contractors in the salon. So make sure we keeping our clients safe. We want them coming back. We want them to know they're in a happy, safe space, because at the end of the day, they want to feel good. Now, you also want to educate your clients as far as hair. Now, hair has many, many functions. For one, it regulates the body temperature, right? Of course, y'all remember that. For two, we know it's all about adornment too. We know it's the aesthetic aspect of it. We know that has a lot to play with. But then there's some other functions that you may not be familiar with. And I want to talk about that one before I mention, well, I'm going to mention this one. And of course, hair kind of divert perspiration. It allows perspiration to evaporate. So, that whole cooling system and all that good stuff, hair is very important. It's part of the integumentary system. That's the part of the system that we work on as barbers and stylists. That's the part of the system, the body system, that we study in trichology. So, folks, it's very important. And don't take your business lightly. You are a professional, so make sure you're doing professional things. Now, all my long hair lock wears, folks, let's talk about the pila. The pilus, that's just the Latin word for hair. Now, with all that being said, with that hair, I told you some of the functions. Hair also acts as a filtration system. It filters a lot of free radicals out of the environment. So it clings to it. It has a static that it clings to your hair. Now, that's a good thing because now you're not breathing it in. But now it could be a bad thing if you allow this hair to flow in your face and now you're breathing it in. You're taking it home, you're lying down on your pillows, you're tossing and turning your bed, and now you're allowing your body to ingest these free radicals from your pillows and things of that nature. That's the unsafe part of it. So it's important, folks, wash, shampoo, if you want to use that term, shampoo your hair. Practitioners, offer the service. If you got to get somebody else in there, offer the service. It's a very important service. Shampoo your hair. Now, you're only going to get about 60% of that bacteria or the bacteria that causes viruses, about 60% through a regular shampoo. But there is a shampoo out there that is called Silk 2 makes it, and it's a disinfectant shampoo. Very good shampoo. I would suggest using it. Y'all, I'm sweating. I'm sorry. I don't want to wipe my face on camera, but anyway, I'm about to wrap this up. So you want to make sure you shampoo as frequently as possible. If you don't think you have a lot of time, practitioners, you could go with a dry shampoo. Anything that's going to clean some. The less is better. I mean, I shouldn't say the less is better, but the more you get out is better. I mean, if one is less than the other, fine. At least you got some of the bacteria out. You want to be safe. You definitely don't want to take things home because we work in that close proximity. Remember, face your clients to the mirror when you talk to them. Get those, summary now, y'all, and get those sanitizer stations throughout. Make sure that the pens and pencils that you may be using in your salon, that you're constantly sanitizing, washing your hands. Don't only do the station, but make sure the chairs are disinfected. You can use a wipe. A wipe takes anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes in terms of its effectiveness. So wipes are very fast acting. So you can get the wipes to cleanse those areas, just things of that nature. But folks, I am out of time, and I just want you all to know that I have a passion for the industry. So from time to time, I may come on. So subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please hit me up. I am on Facebook as Vernon Wright. I am on Instagram at Wright Vernon. That is WRIGHT VERNON. Again, Facebook, just Vernon Wright, first name, last name. I do have an instructor page there as well. Very rarely use it, but anyway, contact me. Let's talk. Let's stay professional. All right. See you then. Next time. Later.